Hi, everyone. My topic today is 5 ways to future-proof your company during a crisis. Now, crisis is a time of intense difficulty and danger. Time of intense difficulty and danger. A time when a difficult or important decision must be made. Now, it is about making a decision, making a difficult and important decision. Now, we have to mark the word difficult and important decision, because you can't pull yourself or pull your company out of the doldrum without making the important decision. Leadership is about decision making. Business is about decision making. That decision will either leave you in the doldrum or to pull you out of the difficulties, out of the storm. And you won't be able to do this unless you can use your imagination, unless you can use your intuition, to be able to imagine the situation and be able to play out the scenarios and see that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. That is very, very important. So, and you can't make this decision if you don't understand yourself. You can't you can't come up without understanding yourself, because the key thing is being able to understand yourself, being able to be comfortable in your skin, being able to be who you are. And when you're able to be who you are, you begin to understand why I said that your intuition is more accurate than statistics. Then you'll be able to use your imagination. Your intuition is precise, is more accurate than statistics. So you have to use your intuition. You have to use your imagination, because sometimes our mind will tell us, look, this is the time to take decision, but fear will hold us back. Fear will hold us back. The crisis, itself is, brings up a storm, brings up, heavy gale around us that makes wave, and then we are terrified. But we should understand that we shouldn't allow fear to rule us. And to be honest, during crisis is the time a human being, we are the sharpest of our brain. It is the time our brain is at its sharpest. And great people, do things at that very time. So now, what I'm saying is that crisis means opportunity. It is opportunity to innovate. It's opportunity to, be creative. It's opportunity to step away. It's opportunity to move away from where you already found yourself. It's an opportunity to question the status quo. So now, but you can't do these things if you don't believe in yourself. If you can't do this if you don't strongly believe in your intuition. And I'm saying here that your intuition is more accurate. Use your intuition. Don't be afraid. If you look at it, your intuition, tells you something, is direct and clear, you move. Do not wait. Do not, stay in limbo. Now, there are 5 strategies I outlined to help to future-proof your company during crisis. And one of them is a plan for downtown. You see, planning is very, very important. And there is a saying, there's something John Lennon said. I love it. He says that life is what happens to you while you are busy making other plans. Now, he's talking about crisis. When you are busy trying to do this, trying to do that, what happens to you? By the time you are busy with other things, something creeps in, and that is crisis. It's something, most times it's not, you don't cause it. It's something that wasn't caused by you. It could be government policy, it could be tsunami, it could be different things, it could be war. All these things are crises. But they are there to make us solid. Look at a furnace, man, a diamond. For a diamond to be diamond, it has to, go through the furnace. It has to go through crisis. Crisis is the time whereby you can now say, look, I'm done. I am capable and I'm strong and solid, to move. I'm strong and solid to withstand, because we are built to withstand heavy pressure, maximum pressure. That is the way we are. So crisis is like a furnace. Without the furnace, the diamond won't be diamond. It will remain like a raw diamond. So the same thing applies to us. Without crisis, we can't be solid enough as to say we are expert, as to say we are who we are. So, and the first strategy is planning. Planning for downtown. Planning for downtown means, thinking about it before it happens. Because it's like living out the day. There's a word saying that you have to learn to finish the day before it arrives. Most people, before the day arrives, they have already written in their diary what they're gonna do tomorrow. They do not wait till tomorrow. They have to do it the previous day against what is happening. Because once you've been able to write it down, you finish the day before it is arrived. That is the mindset you got to have if you wanna, reap the windfall during crisis. If you wanna be successful during crisis. For instance, Ocado, which is an online grocery shop, the 10 years back, they envision, what we're seeing today. It's like they knew that COVID-19 will be around the corner, and they started planning. And before other companies, other business were able to wake up, they had already established themselves. And during the COVID, they almost got 80% of online groceries in UK. That was a huge windfall. That is the way to take advantage of the crisis. That's the way, because if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. You have to lay the plan. And most people will have the plan, but they haven't got the mindset to move. That's why I said, first of all, if you use your intuition, if you are thinking something and it's very clear and it's direct in your head, follow it. That is the way to do this. Don't look behind you. Don't look at the back. Don't look, behind you. It's like somebody who is driving. People, if you are driving, you don't look at the back, the back mirror. You look in front, because by the time you turn back, fear will creep in, and then you will stop it. So you got to understand yourself, and once you understand yourself, you execute the plan, you implement it without being afraid. Well, the same thing happened to us. We launched Odara during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. So immediately it came, and we thought about it, because already we've conceived it before. And immediately landed, we launched it. We didn't have to wait. We didn't have to start, perivocating, trying to, can I stop, or can I start, or can I, shuffling from one thought to the other. We didn't. We just move into it with our two legs, and then it's better to move in that way, especially if you are convinced. And then you have to use your imagination. Now, negotiation is critical in surviving crisis. You have to negotiate. During crisis is the time to negotiate, because some people, because of crisis, they won't be able to, carry on. So you just have to understand, look, this is the time to negotiate. Some people, between you and your employees, you have to negotiate, because during crisis, a lot of people are being laid off. You have to say, okay, look, now, instead of not doing something, this is the time you can do something. You can reduce it. You can reduce, if it's employment, you can scale down, because all the businesses are scaling and start negotiating. And that is the way to navigate your way out of crisis. So going on, during a crisis, it is important to be proactive rather than taking a leap of faith or holding back. Like I said, you shouldn't hold back during crisis. It's not the time hold back, the time you allow fear to rule over you. It is the time when you should ask yourself, is there a better way to serve your customers, or to stop doing what is not essential and focus on the things your clients or customers really value? So during crisis is the opportunity you have to re-evaluate, review what you're doing, see whether you are doing the right thing. Are you being proactive? And during this period is the time to share your value. Is the time to tell your customers where you stand. Is the time, to bring out their value to align with the value of your customers. In that way, you pull yourself out of the difficult challenges. Then it's also, you got to provide excellent services to your, excellent customer service. You have to be transparent. You have to create a sense of community. Share things, share your story, share your views and values with other people in their community, and that in that way you make yourself known to your customers. You create that kind of rapport, that relationship. Then you have to exceed the customer's expectation. Then you got to know you got to know the area you are investing on. You got to know the business you are into, because if you don't know it, then it looks stupid to be for somebody not to be an expert in his own area in what you're doing. So because when you know something, you'll be able to convince your customers and say, look at the difference between A and look at the difference between B. So if you're able to explain it, they will take it on board, and then you'll be able to have customers during this difficult time. You also have to be flexible. It's like us when we started the C-Hub magazine. At the time, things were very, very difficult, and we begin to understand that. We began to understand that we can make a change by going online. We can make a change because the people who the context change, because when the context change, you got to change. Now publishing magazine, printing it, is something that is dwindling, is diminishing in the mind of the customer. So for us to be printing at that time, it's no longer profitable. So we have to go digital. So you really have to monitor the context, monitor the environment, see the way things are moving, and then take advantage of it. Sometimes it comes in form of a crisis, but you have to have sharp mind as to understand it on time, and review your business decisions and move quickly. The second point is developing online presence. Developing online presence is very, very important, because like I said, this is 2021. Any serious business has gone online. That's why you see shops are closing. A lot of businesses, and in the shops and in the streets, they are closing because they are going online. So and online makes it life very flexible and easy. So you need to study and see how you can show your online presence, show the online presence by building websites, creating shops online, because that will help you to navigate out of the crisis. Because now, because of what is going on, look at during the COVID now, nobody was moving about, nobody was going to the shops. People were afraid to go to the shop because of COVID. So what they were doing was they were buying online, staying at their home, their bedroom to buy. And you opening shop when nobody's coming is a waste of resources and time. The government won't even allow you to do that. So are you going to stop your business because you You couldn't get a shop outside. You have to do what other people are doing to open up online shop in order to continue. And in fact, that created a huge opportunity for young startups to, take on board, the new things that were happening online. And then many people made millions during the COVID-19 because it created an environment for fast-thinking entrepreneurs to launch themselves. And in fact, in that period, that necessitated the reason we launched Odara, because they invent something, and the holidays and the, tourism, they are closing, the hotels are closing. So the best way is to, channel our energy towards a different area, especially online. And that helped us to, start off Odara, which deals on garments and clothing and other things, online. So these things are very, very important. So developing an online presence, maintain media presence, invest in community strategy. If your competitors are not cutting down on marketing, you will require enormous effort to keep your brand voice and marketing presence in the long run. I cannot stress enough, prevent the damage by considering marketing as an investment. You got to, see how you can market yourself, see how you can create this online, presence. So going on, the third one is consider embracing emerging tech as a solution. Like, tech, you can't separate online business with, they are inseparable. Online business and tech, you got to embrace the technology. Because if you're not embracing the technology, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna monitor your website? How are you gonna look at, if you say you don't like a computer, how are you gonna, you don't want to learn how to type, you don't want to learn how to do business, so how are you gonna do it? So you got to embrace the technology, find one way or the other to help yourself, because without that, you become a dinosaur. Sorry. So look at Zoom. It was because the Zoom was able to embrace technology. So during COVID, they were all over the place, and we were all using Zoom. It's technology. And then, like I said, also Ocado embraced technology. 10 years behind, they've built a technical know-how. They were able to invest in robots and artificial intelligence, and now they are reaping the windfall. One day I went to their shop at Erit. I was able to see 2,000 robots, stocking their shelves. It's no longer human beings that are stocking shelves. Imagine 2,000 robots working at the same time, stocking the shelves. That was amazing. That was that is embracing technology. You can imagine, you can't even imagine it yourself. We used to have people going from one shelf to the other, loading it, stuffing it with things. But this one is robots. You see them carrying it and dropping it. And then, because they embraced the technology, they were able to service millions of customers at the same time. This is amazing. And, it has put Ocado in the limelight. It has put them as the top in grocery online shops. So how did they succeed? Because they simply embraced the technology. They decided to invest in artificial intelligence. They were bold and courageous. And today, they are reaping the windfall. So don't be envious of them. So what I'm telling you today is that go home, see how you can embrace technology. Start working on your website. Start doing things, in such a way that, because without the technology, the world has gone digital. There's nothing you can do. So don't be a dinosaur. So the first strategy, one moment. The first strategy is beachhead strategy. This is a military strategy where if one is able to gain access into the territory of the enemy, regardless of how small the area is, that becomes a beachhead for the takeover of the enemy territory. It's a very powerful strategy, beachhead. It's like the military, are good at using this beachhead strategy. Once they were able to get a tiny bit of the enemy territory, a little bit of it, and then they can now expand from there. So gradually they will take over. In fact, it was what Apple did with Nokia. Apple wasn't into, they were not producing mobile phones. But all of a sudden, it was the area the Nokia took over. But Apple decided to say, look, we have to invest in this area. They just took a tiny portion of the context, a tiny portion of it. Before Nokia knew it, Apple had taken the whole market. Look at the statistics here. Apple applied this strategy in the mobile phone industry. Apple, with a complete lack of experience in the mobile phone business, jumped into it to displace Nokia. By the first quarter of 2021, by the first quarter of 2021, Nokia sold about nearly 6 times as many phones as Apple. But Apple was selling at 638 pounds per phone, while Nokia was selling at 87 pounds. So when it comes to the number of phones purchased, Nokia sold more. But when it comes to money, Apple made more money in an industry dominated by Nokia. So the thing is that Apple, with its technology and insights, they were able to, shuffle Nokia aside. They put them aside into, they put them in defensive position. Imagine Nokia used to be, it has the territory in 100%. Apple started. So the same way, if you want to jump into a business where you feel you are competent in, you don't have to be afraid of the people already there. What you do is get a little part of it. From there you expand. Then the fifth one, and finally the final one, is continuously monitor and assess government programs. You remember during the 2020, during the pandemic 2020, government was able to ask businesses, were able to ask businesses, look, your turnover, we can give you a loan in order to help you to keep, running your business, in order to help you to keep your business afloat during this difficult time. So government was able to give them 25% of the turnover. And then if you are the one that is not, arranging your taxes and getting your documentation, business plans and other things, then you find it difficult to take advantage of it. So you always have to look out for government regulations and government grants, because government is aware of the challenges, because most of the thing is that they have policies that affect people, and in order to keep businesses, they have to give them a kind of grant, give them a kind of opportunity, so that they can navigate their way out of the difficult time, like we did have during 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. So what I'm trying to let you know here is this, that whatever stands in the way becomes the way. The impediment to action advances it. So our action may be impeded, but there can be no impeding of our intentions or disposition, because we can accommodate and adapt. We can be flexible. the mind adapts and converts its own purpose, the obstacles to our acting. So what stands in our way becomes a way. The crisis is something that stands in our way, it becomes our way. So during crisis, this is the incubation time. This is the time to show what you're made of. So do not be afraid during crisis. Crisis is opportunity. Crisis is the time to make it in business. Thank you.